What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at the Expendables 2, directed by Simon West, co-written by Richard Wenk and Sylvester Stallone. Now, I'm going to try and make this review as short as I possibly can. I really like the Expendables 2. I think Expendables 2 truly is an improvement over the first movie, which I already liked to begin with. But I think Expendables 2 is just that much better. I think from a story standpoint, this movie is much more stronger. I think from a villain standpoint, this movie is much more memorable. So the plot of the movie is this: the Expendables have to go are on a mission to take down this man named Villain who has killed one of their own. That's really the overall basic premise of the Expendables 2. Now, there's a lot more to it, but let's just talk about it. So, first and foremost, from a casting standpoint, just like in that first movie, the cast in this movie is outstanding. The Expendables as a collective unit, the chemistry between these men is outstanding. Stallone and Statham, their chemistry from that first movie is further expanded upon in this movie, and they have some really good. And Stallone and Statham really do have genuinely good on-screen chemistry with one another. I buy them as being very, very close friends, and they just work so well. And I actually would not mind to see a duo solo movie with these two. Now I know in the first movie I criticized that Statham and Stallone got the bulk of the screen time. In this movie, I feel like the other members of the Expendables also had a chance to shine, with the exception of Jet Li, who once you get past the first 10 minutes of this movie, you don't see him again, he's kind of wasted. And especially what the overall premise of this movie is, kind of makes you wonder why didn't you just kill off his character? But I think that Toll Road and Hell Caesar, they had moments to shine as well, and I love the moment where Hell Caesar and and Trench, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, have a little moment together and a little Terminator reference. I thought that was really really fun. Um, Dolph Lundgren as Gunner, he had a chance to shine too, and I thought he was fine too. Just the first 10 minutes of this movie is both exciting because it's just like the last act of the first movie. The first 10 minutes of this movie is just non-stop, just action, shoot 'em up, and just destruction and carnage, and it looks great. I think from a visual standpoint, Simon West is a better director than Sylvester Stallone. I think Simon West didn't you overuse CGI like Stallone did in the first movie. I think Simon West had a better handle on the action sequences, particularly in this movie, because a lot of the action scenes in this movie they all look really really good. They look really good and well shot. Uh, yeah, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the Expendables as a unit and the directing by Simon West. Now let's get on to the supporting cast. As I mentioned earlier, so Arnold Schwarzenegger returns as Trent, and it's fun to see Arnie. And he has more of a substantial role because he also we see him in the beginning and then he comes back in the third act and joins the Expendables in a shoot 'em up, which was fun to see. The character of Mr. Church, played by Bruce Willis, he comes back again because Mr. Church is really pissed off about Barney about what happened in the events of the last movie, and Church feels that Barney just took his money and didn't do what he was supposed to do in a way. So, so pretty much, Church makes a deal with Ross to try and do a make good. All the while, Church is sending one of his own, a character by the name of Maggie, along with Barney. Now, first Barney's reluctant because he doesn't want to be a babysitter. But we find out that the character of Maggie is doing something, is there to obtain a computer, and this computer holds the location of pretty much a lot of plutonium that could level down, just cause mass destruction. So that's the purpose of the Maggie character. She's just there to obtain this MacGuffin. And I think overall, I think the Maggie character is fine. If she had a little bit more to do, I think she would have made a really good addition to the Expendables team. And I do like the camaraderie that they have. And the movie does subtly tries to tease a romance between the characters of Maggie and Barney, but I'm glad it doesn't go down that route because the movie doesn't really need it. I mean, they try to do a romance with the last movie with Lee and the character of Lacey, who's in this movie by the way, and Lacey is on screen for all of 3 minutes. So yeah, it goes to show you that the stuff you did with Lacey did not need to happen in the first movie because she's irrelevant in this movie. And the character of Maggie did not need a romance saying. Barney Ross doesn't need a romance saying. He's too far gone as a mercenary to even be involved with anybody. So I like how the movie doesn't go down that route. That was fine with me. We get introduced to a new character known as Billy the Kid by Liam Hemsworth, who's like the new generation of Expendables. And this is where my biggest gripe comes with, because this movie kills off the Billy the Kid character, and the Expendables are all broken up and disheveled about it, and they want to get revenge on Villain. Since Jet Li does not play a substantial role in this movie, you could have just had the character of Yin Yang get killed off and have Billy take Yin Yang's place as a more permanent member. I don't like the fact that they introduced this new character. We're supposed to care about him, and we don't really have enough time, in my opinion, to really care about this character. He's not established from the previous movie. He's completely new. So why would you kill him off and then expect me as a viewer to care about the Expendables wanting to get revenge on him? It would have been much better if it was the Jet Li character getting killed. I already have an attachment to him, and then Jet Li doesn't do anything in this movie either. Like you see him in the first, like I said, you see him in the first 11 minutes and he disappears. He means absolutely nothing to the overall plot line. So yeah, that's probably my biggest gripe with this movie is that I would have switched the roles because I think it would have been much better. But I think Jean Claude Van Damme as the villain John Verlaine, I thought Van Damme was great. He has a very just sinister charisma, and you can tell that Van Damme is having a blast chewing up the scenery in this movie. He he fits into his role like a glove. I loved it, and I especially really liked the fight scene between Van Damme and Stallone. I thought that was really well choreographed, and they pretty much kick each other's asses in that fight scene between the two, and it was very entertaining. And the whole shootout that leads up to that is also fun too. You have Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Willis standing arm in arm, just shooting down Verlaine's men, and it's just one of those iconic action moments that we've been waiting to see for so long. And we finally got to see it, and it's cool. And they're bantering with one another. They're stealing at each other's catchphrases. And that stuff is fun as well. You also have Chuck Norris in this movie, who plays a character called Booker, who appears all throughout this movie. And his role's a lot of fun, and they actually make fun of the whole Chuck Norris facts thing, which was pretty cool. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to talk about with the Expendables 2. But those are just my general thoughts on this movie. Overall, I think Expendables 2, from a story and from a story standpoint, is a vast improvement over the first Expendables movie. I think this movie is much more fun. It's much more badass than the first movie. And to me, like the kings of that first movie have been worked out in the sequel. You just get to have some fun, and you get to really explore these characters some more. Like I said, I would have not have had Billy the Kid died. I would have had the character of Yin Yang died and had Billy the Kid take Yin Yang's place. I think that would have meant more to the story overall. But for what we get, I think Expendable 2, hell of a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this movie, which is why it gets a 9 out of 10 for me. So yes, those are my thoughts on Expendables 2. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.